as lawyers for former President Donald Trump argued Friday that he should be acquitted at his impeachment trial for his role in the Jan. 6 insurrection. One of his supporters was in federal court in Georgia asking for his son to be released from federal custody after the 18-year-old was charged with shoving an officer during the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. Joseph Kua and his wife took their 18-year-old son, Bruno Kua, to the nation's capital in January because they, like millions of Americans, believed the conspiracy theories about a stolen election being floated by the former president. On Friday afternoon, Joseph Kua told a federal magistrate judge why he thought, despite the fact that he had brought his son to the scene of the crime and believed in the conspiracies that drove the attack, he and his wife would be good custodians of their son until his trial. Bruno Kua is facing a host of federal charges for storming the Capitol on January 6, including assault on a federal officer, civil disorder and obstruction of an official proceeding. His dad testified that he knew his son had brought a baton with him as they went to the Capitol. President Trump is calling us to fight. The younger Kua posted on the right-wing social media website Parler under the name @PatriotBruno, according to the feds. This isn't a joke, this is where and when we make our stand. His father bought into the lies too, convinced there was all this fraud and the election was stolen. But now, testifying in the hopes of securing his son's pre-trial release, Joseph Kua said he now recognized that he was mislead. "I share responsibility in that," he said. "As a middle-aged man, I feel like I can filter a little bit of that with reality, but I felt like as a teenager, he was drinking it in, and just believed it too much." Bruno Kua, his father said, parroted stuff from other leaders on social media and leaders, like the president, or the attorneys like Linwood and all these people saying we have all this information and everything's gonna come out. "I myself feel pretty embarrassed that I think a lot of us felt like this happened and we believed these people and be disillusioned that there was no big reveal, and nothing came out. It's disillusioning, disheartening and embarrassing, quite frankly," Joseph Kua said. He added that he was embarrassed that we drank in a lot of this rhetoric from so-called leaders that just never materialized. Kua said it was after the attack on the Capitol, but before his son's arrest, that he backed away from the mass voter fraud conspiracy theories. Joseph Kua said he had hoped that seeing a massive crowd outside the Capitol would bolster the courage and confidence of Republican lawmakers to object to the certification of state electoral votes and overturn the election results, which Kua believed were fraudulent. Now, he said, he realized the truth, that Joe Biden was the legitimate winner of the 2020 election, and that Trump and his enablers were feeding him and his son a bunch of lies. "I feel like I maybe should have known a little bit better at my age," Joseph Kua said. "At some point, you're like, I think this is a bunch of BS." Joseph Kua said he felt responsible for bringing his son to the Capitol, and said that he and his wife would be able to create a stable environment for him at home. Ryan Kareem Buchanan, a prosecutor for the Justice Department, moved to detain Bruno Kua, saying home wasn't a suitable place for him. "I don't believe that home incarceration would work because he's an 18-year-old who's homeschooled," Buchanan said. The things that Bruno Kua had ingested, not only from the internet but from his parents, led him to the attack on the Capitol. Joseph Kua testified that he believes some of this came from him. He acknowledged that he bears some responsibility for his son's belief structure and then the actions that arose out of those, Buchanan said. Absent the internet, absent going to any rallies, his parents are still there. He went up to D.C. His parents went with him, and then he committed multiple felonies there, Buchanan said. The idea that this is some type of learning experience for him. The danger he poses has not been mitigated. The danger he poses, I believe, is mitigated with him in custody. Chief Magistrate Judge Alan J. Verman agreed. Bruno Kua, he ruled, would be held in custody until his trial. He would be sent back to D.C., where he'll face trial for his crimes or, more likely, take a plea deal. Verman said that, outside of a drug case, he has rarely seen this much family involvement in a crime. We have a lot of really serious, a lot of really dangerous people who show up here in federal court, Verman said. But I have to say this is the first time in a number of years in a non-family drug case where his parents were, maybe not instigators, but aiders and abettors and didn't take steps to stop their child from going off the rails. Verman said it was not very credible to him that Kua's father didn't see the danger of what was happening, given that he saw the Trump supporters in paramilitary gear, knew his son had a weapon on him, and allowed his son to go up the scaffolding around the Capitol. I've rejected custodians far less involved in the criminal conduct of the defendant, Verman said. Mr. Kua said they were misled by leaders. Well, Mr. Kua is supposed to be a leader, as a parent. Verman said the attack on the Capitol was an attempt to overthrow the lawful processes of the United States government. And now we're saying, well, darn, I really didn't mean any of that. But that's what his mindset was, and his mindset continued after the 6th, when there was no evidence, Verman said. Even when the ex-president said go peacefully, we're still hearing talk from this defendant of revolution, I want to fight. Verman said that, based on Kua's actions both before and after his criminal activity, there were no conditions that could reasonably assure the safety of the community. Therefore, I'm detaining Mr. Kua, and I'm removing him to the District of Columbia, Verman said. By the time Kua arrives in D.C., dozens of Senate Republicans may have already voted to acquit the former president of inciting the violence that Kua participated in. Download Calling All HuffPost superfans. Sign up for membership to become a founding member and help shape HuffPost's next chapter. Join HuffPost.